Hello, I'm Brittany Marshall. On this edition of Commuter Connections, we've got an update on M.NVA Real ID and all the information you need to know to make sure you are compliant. Plus, the holidays are here. That means the popular MTA Holiday Bus is coming to a bus stop near you. Also, we've got a few travel tips to get you to the big Inner Harbor New Year's Eve celebration. We'll introduce you to the members of a chess club within M.MTA, and we take you on a trip with Professor Verne for a look at how track switches work. All here on Commuter Connections. A member of our One M.Dot team, M.NVA, is in the middle of a public outreach effort to make sure all Marylanders are Real ID compliant. This is part of federally mandated requirements which affect driver's license and NVA-issued ID cards. M.NVA Administrator Chrissy Nizer is back with us for an update and important information that you need to know about Real ID. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So right now we are less than 1 year away from the deadline. Can you tell me how important it is that everyone knows that they're Real ID compliant?
So the federal deadline is October 1 of 2020. So as you said, less than a year away. And we know people tend to wait till the last minute. So we're really just encouraging all of our customers to first check their Real ID status. You can do that on our website at mva.maryland.gov. All you need is your driver's license or ID card number. You enter that in and we'll tell you whether you're already Real ID compliant or if you need to bring in documents.
And what's the next step after that? Because this is when people have to go to the different branches as well, right?
That's right. So if you put in your driver's license or ID card number and it says that you need to take additional steps, we'll walk you through our online document guide. That tells you the documents that are needed: one proof of age and identity, one proof of Social Security, and two proofs of Maryland residency. Once you gather those documents, then you're asked if you'd like to make an appointment. We highly recommend appointments. About 27,000 appointments available every week statewide. With an appointment, we guarantee to see you within 15 minutes. So trying to make that as convenient as possible, get you in and out and on your way.
How many residents are Real ID compliant in the state so far?
So that's the great news. We're making good progress. We're up to 2.5 million Maryland residents who are now Real ID compliant. That's 55%. So we made great progress over the summer months, but we're just encouraging. Now we're approaching the holiday season where people are traveling. They're thinking about their plans for future years. Come October 1 of 2020, you'll need to have that Real ID compliant license to use it to board an airplane or enter a federal building. And so as you think about those travel plans this year, plan ahead and go ahead and get your Real ID taken care of now.
And what if those IDs are not taken care of by October 1, 2020?
So there are alternative documents that you could present to board that airplane or enter that federal building, like a U.S. passport, TWIC card, one of those things. But most people travel with their driver's license or ID card. It's a common form of identification, very convenient if you're traveling within the country. And so we want to make sure everybody's aware of the requirement. That's the big thing. Make sure all of our residents have the information or are able to make a good decision for themselves.
And for people who don't have a driver's license or for people who have the IDs, how important is it, especially for our transit administration, those people who take the bus, how important is it to make sure they're compliant?
That's a great point because people focus on driver's license, but the same rules apply to the identification cards. And so if you have an ID card, the same requirements in terms of identity, Social Security, and residency apply to you. You probably use that ID card if you're going to fly to visit friends or family members. And so the Real ID information is just as relevant to the community who has an ID card versus those who have a driver's license.
And one more time, can you tell us the first step that you need to take and where can people find all of that information?
All the information's on our website, so I'd encourage everybody to go to mva.maryland.gov and they can put in their driver's license number and it'll tell them whether or not they're already Real ID compliant, or if you're not, the steps you need to take to become compliant, including what documents you need, as well as, again, making that appointment. Make it convenient. We guarantee that 15 minutes or less wait time.
Right now you have so many people who are compliant. What has the response been over the past year?
The response has been very positive, especially with the appointments. And so we've seen over 400,000 customers with appointments just since January. We've grown the number of appointments we have on a weekly basis. I mentioned the 27,000. It used to be 2,000 and 3,000 appointments available a week. But as customers express interest, we added appointments to make it, again, as convenient as possible for them. We also continue to get a 98% customer satisfaction rating, which I'm really proud of our employees. Customers might not, want to have to come and take time out of their day to visit a branch office, but when they are there, they have that convenient experience with appointments and a great customer service experience with the employee. And so 98% customer satisfaction, that's pretty incredible.
And you guys have done so much outreach during this time, but for those who may not know, what is the point of being Real ID compliant? Where did this come from?
Real ID came from the tragic events of 9/11, and so really the important recommendations from the federal government were about making sure when a driver's license or ID card is issued, it meets a higher level of standards so that we know when we issue a card to you that it truly, your identity has been vetted, that you are a resident of the state of Maryland, and you have confidence that when it's presented to somebody, they know that that truly is who the individual is. We know identity theft is a clear concern for all Americans. We want our card to be the most secure card that possibly can be, so Maryland residents have that confidence. So it really was about that identity, security, and verification.
And all this information can be found in one place. Could you tell me where that is?
Yes, go to our website at mva.maryland.gov. Just click on Real ID. It's a lot of information. We are out in the community at community events. There's a calendar up there where you can see where we're available and happy to answer any questions. Just encourage everybody to reach out to us by social media, in person, our call center, email, any of those venues. We'd be happy to help. We've also extended branch hours at several locations, so all of our branches are now open till 6:30 on Thursday evening. We're also extending at 8 branch offices statewide on Saturday, so we're open until 4:30 at those branches. So again, convenience is the key. We want to make it a great experience for our customers to come into compliance, and so check out those options. Are all available on our website.
Thanks so much for joining us and telling us all we need to know about Real ID.
Thank you.
And if you haven't made plans for New Year's Eve just yet, we may have the perfect idea and the best way to get there using transit. That's next. Stay with us.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Each year, huge crowds gather at Baltimore's Inner Harbor for the big New Year's Eve celebration and fireworks display. Of course, it's about bringing in the new year, and MTA has your best ride to this year's festivities. Joining us with all you need to know about the celebration is Communications Director of the Baltimore Office of Promotion and the Arts, Tracy Baskerville. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me, how long does it take for you guys to plan for something like New Year's Eve celebration?
Well, usually for our events, we do a lot of the major events and arts programming in the city of Baltimore. It takes us a while, and we usually start events either right after the year before. And so sometimes, no matter how much you plan, there are things, directions you have to go, things you have to pivot to. So our team starts months in advance in programming New Year's Eve and all of our events.
And tell me, for those who have never been, what is the experience like?
Well, for us, for New Year's Eve, we like to have it as a place to be an alternative in that it's free and open to the public. We know during New Year's Eve, it's a special time as we kick off the next year. Everybody's excited. So things can be a little bit expensive when you're trying to go out to parties. So for us, having a chance to see a band and see a fireworks show for free is really what people can expect and what people are looking for, that free alternative.
And what time does it usually begin? What time do people start really gathering?
We start with the band at 9 o'clock. It's right at 9 p.m. It's right in the Inner Harbor Amphitheater area. And then also this year, the Inner Harbor Ice Rink is open, so you can skate as well. So the band starts at 9 p.m. and then we have the fireworks right at the stroke of midnight.
And can you tell me just how many people do you all expect, or how many have you gotten years past?
You know, it's hard to tell. We've gotten thousands, like you said, but then we also hear where people will tell me that they'll be on this side, so we may not see them, but they'll watch the fireworks over here, or they'll be here. So it's hard to tell, but we know we get thousands and hundreds of people that come out for the show and for the band.
And who's responsible for the fireworks display? I know it's, of course, a huge part of it, one of the bigger parts of it. So who's in charge of all that?
So we work with the fireworks company, and our company this year is Pyrotechnico. So it's a lot of people who go into doing that, from securing the barge to getting the permits and all of that. So Pyrotechnico, they're the fireworks company that really coordinates the show. They choreograph it to music, and we go over the soundtrack and really work together to come up with a good show.
And how long does it last?
The show, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. So we're working on narrowing down what exactly the time is going to be. But yeah, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. And it's choreographed to music. We'll start off at the stroke of midnight, probably with Auld Lang Syne, and we'll pick some songs from the past year that have been popular. So we try and do a mix of music that you can hear right there at the amphitheater while you're at the Inner Harbor.
And what do people say about their experience when they go? Like, what's the thing that they love?
I think people love the fact that this is a chance for them just to come out and enjoy Baltimore New Year's Eve. It's celebration time. I think just the magic sometimes of New Year's Eve. People have their horns, their funny glasses, and as we go into, it's 2020, we're entering a new decade, and I think sometimes the magic of that feeling, you never know what a new year offers. So I think it's kind of a little bit of an excitement time that you maybe not feel at other times of the year or other events, but yeah, it's just anticipating for what the new year will bring.
And so what's the advantage of having so much public transit available at the Inner Harbor? There's Metro Subway link that people can use, the light rail link, and many bus lines that put you pretty much directly at the harbor. What's the advantage of having that?
The advantage of having that many options is that it makes the event really accessible, not only to residents, for people who are visiting out of town. So to be able to have those transportation options, I'm sure you probably can't find that in many other places, but we have it right here in Baltimore.
And a lot of it's in walking distance. Most of it's in walking distance.
A lot of it's in walking distance for folks. Also, we encourage everyone to take public transportation, but also if you have to drive, plenty of parking garages. Just be prepared to pay to park.
And how can viewers get more information about the New Year's Eve celebration, how to get there, different things of that?
Definitely go to MTA's website, first and foremost, about how to get there and recommendations for that. And then just for information in general on the celebration, they can go to our website, promotionandarts.org.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. Look forward to the event.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our MTA employees have unique backgrounds and skill sets. For some operators, they test their skills with the game of chess, and it's become so popular that they've created a chess club. Let's take a look at this fun new group.
So every MTA bus division has its own chess culture, has its own chess board, its own ranking system, different players, different styles. Teddy Krolik, MTA Office of Planning. As part of my job, I get to visit each of the divisions to talk with operators about what they're seeing on a day-to-day basis, and a great way to start that conversation is actually playing chess.
My name is Mark Henry, and I'm from Bush Division. I really, really love the game. It's a great game. It's a great game to sit across from someone and dig into their brain as they try to dig into your brain. I usually play on my lunch break, and almost every day. So I'm always going to be a student of chess, a student of the game. But in the process of me being a student, I've also become a teacher.
I'm Jonathan Berkeley. I'm from Northwest. I wanted to learn how to play. I just learned how to play from working here, and I became pretty good. I think I'm probably like the top 5 in here.
I'm not taking credit for that.
I'm Veronica Vaughn. I work at Northwest Division. I've been playing for about 10 years. What I enjoy about playing chess is the strategies and trying to get your opponent not to know what your next move is. I was just playing with the gentleman over here. He beat me bad, but it's okay. Next time I'll get him.
I'm Ronnie Moon from Northwest Division. Well, I had a lot of chess pieces at home, and I'm pretty handy with my hands, so I actually built the board that we play on at Northwest. I play on my break, and occasionally I'll play after my day is over. It's relaxing for me because I'm able to take my mind away from the day and put it on the board and my opponent at that point in time.
It makes a lot of sense why operators are good chess players. It takes a lot of focus, anticipation, have to stay calm. I really enjoy getting to meet and know the operators in a different way every time you play a game.
So I encourage everybody or anybody to learn to play chess. It's a brilliant game. Learn the greatest game ever.
Coming up next, Santa and MTA are teaming up to bring a little holiday cheer to a bus stop en route near you. We'll show you that next. Stay with us.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs, just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
MTA and Santa are teaming up again this year to bring a little holiday joy with the MTA Holiday Bus. This special bus may be coming soon to a bus line or stop near you. Joining us with more information on the holiday bus is MTA Director of Customer and Community Relations, Rome Bennett. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me.
So tell me all about the holiday bus and when will it be coming to the area?
So the holiday bus is MTA's way of giving back to the community and spreading the holiday cheer to our riders. It's a way of thanking our riders who have been with us all year, and just to spread the holiday cheer and just to be a little bit jolly during the season. We go out into the community, we go through various routes.
And sometimes the administrator is on the line?
Yeah, we have the administrator on the line, we have other employees on the line and other staff members, and there are lots of surprises on the bus.
What's one of the biggest surprises?
I think the biggest surprise when our riders get on the bus and they see, St. Nick, Santa Claus on the bus, a lot of folks are like, wow, and they're all overjoyed. And we've heard a lot of comments over the years where it just put a different spin on their day, especially when we do it the first thing in the morning. A lot of people come on and it's not something they're expecting. So it's a very good surprise for a lot of our riders.
And what days will it be available?
So the bus will be available Monday to Friday from starting at 6:30 a.m. through to 3 p.m.
And what day? What exact days?
Oh, the exact date will be starting December 2nd all the way through December 20th.
And how much does it cost to get on the holiday bus?
It is actually free, which is another thing our customers like. So they just get on and they get a free ride for the day and they're happy.
That's definitely a big surprise, right? That's probably one of the best surprises
Definitely
for a lot
is.
of people.
It certainly is.
And where can people find more information on the holiday bus, or where can they track it?
You can go directly to our website and navigate to find information about the holiday bus.
And residents here have seen the holiday bus for so many years. Tell me how it started and when.
This has been going on for over 40 years, and it was something that was started by a group of operators who wanted to spread the holiday cheer. They came up with the idea.
And for the employees here at MTA, what do you think is one of the best parts of having this holiday bus, and what we love about the experience?
I think for the employees, it's mainly being able to go out there and volunteer and just for people, again, to be in the holiday spirit and just wanting to share their joy.
And other than stopping and doing stop by stop, what are some of the other things you all do with the holiday bus?
So one of the things we've done in the past and we're hoping to do again this year is to incorporate a couple of daycare centers that are along our routes. We've learned that the children look forward to the buses, and certainly if we can stop time alone, especially towards the end of the route, we can certainly stop and incorporate that into the plan for the day. So we'd love to, the kids obviously will love to see Santa, get their candy canes, and it's also just part of our community relations efforts to continue to build relationships with our communities in which we travel.
So how long does it take you all to prepare for the holiday bus?
So we typically start in October, and we go through basically a checklist of things that we have to get ready. Certainly we have to make sure the bus is up and running, that all the lights are working, all the wreath and all the decorations are certainly in good standing. We also have to make sure that all the volunteers are aware of the shifts and that the divisions, it's a coordinated effort, not just within our division but across the MTA, to make sure that everybody who's involved with getting the bus out in the street is very involved in the process early on. So it's certainly trying to get every piece in place and making sure that we're ready to go come December 2nd.
And one more time, tell me the days and the times of the holiday bus.
Sure. So it'll be starting December 2nd all the way through December 20th, and we'll be out there starting at 6:30 in the morning all the way till 3 p.m. and we'll operate in various City Link and local link routes.
Thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate it. Look forward to the holiday bus.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. And it's time to visit Professor Verne, our eccentric but knowledgeable go-to person for an understanding of all things technical and scientific in transportation. On this edition of the program, Professor Verne meets up with MTA Administrator Kevin Quinn for a look at how train switches work.
Hi, Professor Verne. So, what's up with Robot?
Good morning, Administrator. Robot thought he would try a more professional attire when working in the lab, and I think he made the ideal choice.
Well, I can see why you think that, but by the way, where did we get Robot?
Robot was a $30 million NASA development, but I got him for a bargain. I was the highest bidder at a government surplus auction. I got him for $62.
I've heard that. What a bargain. But enough of that. I'm here today to talk about track switches.
Absolutely, Administrator. Track switches, also called turnouts, are used to safely guide a train from one track to another. The key element of a track switch is a linked pair of tapering rails known as switch points located between the two outer rails. See here, I have a mock-up of a track switch to illustrate their operation.
I see we're in the holiday spirit, Professor.
Why, yes, Administrator, it's that time of year. What we have here is a right-hand turnout because the diverting move is to the right of the main track. Note the linked pair of switch points located between the two outer rails, as well as a frog, which allows trains to cross over tracks.
So this highly technical term frog, I assume, is an acronym of some sort.
Not really. The thing just looked like a short-bodied amphibian, so it got called a frog. Now to continue. The switch points operate as a pair and determine on which track the train will continue to move. We either have a straight move or a diverting move possible, depending on how the switch points are aligned.
Can you show me examples of straight and diverting moves?
First, it's critical to know that one of the switch points must be closed against one of the outer rails, while the other switch point has an open gap. Always look for the open gap. It will tell you what move the track switch is aligned to accomplish. If the open gap is at the straight rail, then the train will be guided through a straight move. Note that the open gap is at the straight rail. I'll now demonstrate a straight move using this model wheel set.
Sounds so simple. Just look for the open gap.
Exactly. Now, if the open gap is at the diverting rail, then the train will be guided through a diverting move. Now observe the open gap is at the diverting rail. I'll now demonstrate a diverting move using the model wheel set.
But Professor Verne, how do we make sure the track switch works safely?
The electric switch machines that move the switch points have multiple safety features. First, it checks for correspondence, meaning that the switch points are properly aligned. There's also a point detector that ensures no gap is present at the closed switch point. There are also lock rods, huge metal bars that lock the switch points in place once the switch machine finishes its movement.
That's great. So what happens if something isn't right?
If either of these verifications fail, then trains will not be allowed to move over the track switch.
Professor Verne, I'd like to see one of our track switches in operation.
Let's have at it.
You were going to calibrate my hearing sensors.
We'll do it later.
Okay, Professor.
Administrator, I've asked Systems Engineer David Wilson to join us here today.
Excellent. Professor Verne, I brought my favorite pizza with me today. Could you put this somewhere safe?
Certainly. Robot, put this over there by the railing.
So Dave, how long have you been in railroad engineering?
Hi, Mr. Quinn. I've been doing railroad engineering for about 27 years. This track switch here allows access to our passenger stations from our main lines 1 and 2.
Administrator, observe the switch machine is currently set for a diverting route. Note that the open gap is at the diverting rail. Now observe that the train is making a trailing move over the switch into the passenger station.
It's a good thing that track switch was properly aligned.
Absolutely. Now observe the switch machine is moving the switch points into position for a straight move. Now see that the open gap is at the straight rail. Now observe that the train is leaving the passenger station and making a facing move over the track switch onto the mainline track.
Professor Verne, thank you so much for explaining how track switches work on railroads. And hey, where's my pizza?
Professor, we have a problem.
Professor Verne, what happened to my pizza?
Robot, I told you to put it over there by the railing, not the rails. You malware-ridden microprocessor.
What do you want for $62?
Sorry, Administrator.
Why does this always happen to me?
Thanks, Professor Verne, for an interesting look at how track switches work. That brings us to an end of another edition of Commuter Connections. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.